You're back with me, and we're back to the food.
Ready to roll? Let's get back to the flicks.
In The Running Man, 1987, TV turns violence into primetime ratings. In 2025, we scroll through outrage, deepfakes, and algorithm wars. This episode breaks down how Running Man predicted our media reality. Doctored footage, influencer showmanship, privatized punishment, and win at all costs gamification. We revisit the Stalkers, Sub-Zero, Buzzsaw, Dynamo, Fireball, and Captain Freedom. Richard Dawson's villainous charm, and the Bakerfield setup. Then connect the dots to today's feeds. If you grew up on 80s sci-fi or just want to see how dumb fun was secretly sharp, this one's for you. Let's get back to the flicks.
Let's take a trip down memory lane. So hop in the whip, let's ride the wave. Destination set where classics were born. So kick up your feet and grab the popcorn. Blockbuster movies that swept the nation. Hit the like, subscribe, and notification.
The year is 2017 and the world has fallen into chaos. The country has gone into a police state. Everything not governed by the state is either censored or illegal. Even a minor infraction can get you arrested. Prisoner punishment is now televised and gamified. No one asks questions because no one wants to buck against the system. We meet Ben Richards, a police officer who's a helicopter pilot. He gets into trouble when he refuses to fire on civilians in Bakersfield. He ends up serving 18 months hard labor with a bomb collar strapped to his neck. In that time, he meets up with some resistance members and ends up planning an escape. Everyone seems to make it out except for one guy who doesn't wait 15 seconds before the bombs are actually deactivated. The resistance members end up taking Ben to meet Mick, who is actually Mick Fleetwood in the band Fleetwood Mac. What he didn't know during this time that his escape was televised, which puts him in the crosshairs of Damon Killian, the host of The Running Man, a deadly game show when prisoners go and fight gladiators in a chance to win their freedom. Ben ends up being recaptured trying to evade authorities and is then forced to participate in the Running Man competition. What he doesn't know is that the Bakersfield footage was doctored and sets him as the main antagonist in the incident. Richards, along with two other resistance members, are sent down the chute in Killian's death game, where they'll clash against the Titans, Sub-Zero, Buzzsaw, Dynamo, and Fireball. Richards and the crew end up taking these gladiators out one by one with the same means they use to terrorize others. Killian tries to recruit Captain Freedom out of retirement, but he's not down with the gimmicks, so he opts out of the games. ICS ends up manufacturing the death scenes of Richards and his remaining members. They end up showing this footage to the crowd so that they can then hunt Richards off screen. Amber Mendez, who has been Richards' light love interest in this movie, ends up finding the shriveled up corpses of past winners in the ICS corridors. She also finds the original Bakersfield massacre tapes, which would exonerate Ben Richards. The resistance is quickly closing in on the ICS headquarters, and with Ben Richards escaping from the games, and in his final confrontation with Damon Killian, he ends up serving him some poetic justice, sending him down the same tube to his demise. Before I give my opinion on this movie, go ahead and put in the comments whether or not you were ever duped by a deepfake. We like to say that Stephen King writes horrors, but the scary part isn't the monster, it's how accurately he sketches people. Strip away the ghosts and the gore, and King keeps sketching the same truth. The crowd sees a spectacle, we drift towards it, and we tell ourselves that we're safe because we're only watching. The Running Man is that idea, but with the volume cranked to a 10. Under the Richard Bachman pen name, King imagines a future where punishment is turned into programming, and morality is measured by rating. I think he exaggerates this on purpose, but the behavior underneath goes back to ancient times. This is the Coliseum, but with lights and cameras, likes in the comments section. And as long as we're personally detached from the fallout, we'll pay to watch the drama and convince ourselves just entertainment. The Running Man nails that psychology in a language that the 80s understood. Big action, bigger one-liners, but the subtext is pure media literacy. The villain isn't just Fireball or Buzzsaw, it's the format. It's the applause to a host that sells cruelty in a friendly voice. Stephen King understood that you can dress up a lie so well that the truth looks naked by comparison. And here's where the movie turns prophetic. Long before anyone said the term deepfake, The Running Man shows a network cutting, dubbing, and outright fabricating footage to steer a crowd. The point isn't technical perfection, it's the speed at which it comes out and the repeatability. Get something catchy on the air first, and any corrections that come after that will just feel like a sequel. And that's the internet right now. We live in loops with clips stitched out of context, voice clones that sound authoritative, and face swaps that trigger our instincts before our skepticism can even kick in. The tools and the technology have changed, but the instincts that King wrote about didn't. What stood out to me most during this rewatch was the crowds, the audience that cheered and booed. Just like us today, we vote with our attention. With that being said, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't yet. The game isn't only in the arena, it's in us, and our appetite for chaos at a safe distance, and our willingness to let a polished package outweigh our doubt. The Running Man just puts our reflexes under stadium lights and asks the question that we still haven't answered. When the show tells you what to do you clap on cue, or do you hit pause and look for the cut? I'd have to say that this movie is a classic for the time period it was put out in. Anything with Arnold Schwarzenegger was pretty much golden. This movie is a quick in and out. Action, one-liners, and some great practical effects. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a must-watch, but if you've got time, you can find it on Paramount+, and that's The Running Man. Oh yeah, be sure to hit up the community post. I'm looking for a name for my viewers. Go ahead and put in the comments a name that you think would be suitable for my watchers. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that being said, I'm Jay, and let's get back to the flicks.
We're going back to the flicks, rewind the mix. 80s flicks, family ties in the Netflix fix. Reliving those days with the little ones amazed in the spectral wave. Old classics pave the way. Back to the flicks, rewind the mix. 80s flicks, family ties in the Netflix fix. Reliving those days with the little ones amazed in the spectral wave. Old classics pave the way.